Express Publishing, IDB IELTS, Interpress, American Corner, and Makerspace Astana.
Esteemed guests and participants, today marks a significant opportunity for us to come together and engage in a rich exchange of experience and insights. As we gather for this conference, our focus remains steadfast on the invaluable act of sharing. Throughout the day, we have the privilege of listening to informative speeches that promise to illuminate and challenge our thinking.
So, what does modern education be like? Global, open to change, fostering respect for different cultures. The aim of our conference is to encourage innovation and management in the educational process, dissemination of the experience of English teachers using technology effectively, development of professional competence of English language teachers, and increasing the professional skills level. The most important is creating a platform for the exchange of experience and the introduction of advanced methods and technologies in the field of universal education.
Before we immerse ourselves in the realms of technologies, innovation, and management in education, let's take a moment to enjoy some captivating music performances that will set the tone for an inspiring day ahead. The first music performance by Елебес Ерболат Muhammad Khalilov with the song Мен Қазақтың ұлымын. Please welcome.
Қайырлы кеш, құрметті әріптестер, мерекелеріңізбен шын жүректен құттықтаймыз. Еліміз аман, жұртымыз тыныш болсын.
tradition, science and history of our nation, we can't help referring to a great figure in Kazakh history, one of a kind, Abay Kunambarlı, and his masterpiece, Book of Words. Annually, we organize the competition of Abay creation. So it's my pleasure to introduce an English teacher from School ICM 84, Zapatova Gulnur Pazilbekovna, with the Abay's creation, The 10th Word. What does it matter to child for? They say that one to live in is son to provide for his parents until knowledge and pray for them after their death. Is alone, living in the air, what does it mean? Are you afraid there will be no one to look after your property? But why? Why she gave us things that you leave behind? What are you sorry to leave them to other people? What kind of treasures have you gained to regret it so much? A good child is a joy, but that one is a burden. Who knows what kind of child God will bestow on you? Or haven't you had enough of the humiliations that you have swallowed all your life? Have you committed to three mistakes? Why? Why are you so eager to have a child? To wield it in others' control, to deem himself the humiliations? You want your son to pray for you after this. But if you have good in your lifetime, who not after praise for repose of his soul. But if you have done only evil, what true use of your son's prayers? Will he perform good deeds in your success you have to accomplish? If you beg for a child who will experience the joys of the next world, it means that you wish him in all the days. But if you want him to secure yourself for the joys of this world, then can it be a son who on growing to manhood will show care and concern of his parents? Can such a people and a father like you was the son of this kind? You want him to fit and close in your declared old age? And very hope too. First of all, will you live to reach your death age? Second, will your son grow up so mercifully to care for in your old age? If you happen to your own livestock, there will be someone ready to look after you. But if you have none, who knows who will provide you and how? And who knows whether your son increase your wealth or squander what you have gained by the labor? Suppose forgive your son? Will you manage to educate him well? No, you'll not. Your own sins will be compounded by that of your son. From the day outside of his life, you'll be telling him lies. And you'll be glad to when you manage to deceive him. Then whom you can blame when your son grows up a liar? You teach him bad language and to revile others. You condemn his misdeeds, don't touch his abstaining life. Encourage his chickens. For schooling, you choose a mullah whom you pay little just to teach him to write and read. You teach him to be cunning, underhand, suspicious of his and corrupted bad information is such a break. And you expect a kindness from his and that's it. Supposing, in the same way, people pray to God for the wealth, whereas the man need wealth for. You have prayed to God, yes, you have. God has given you, but you won't take. He has endowed your strength to work and prosper, but do you use it for honest labor? No, you're not. He granted you power, mind capable of assimilating knowledge, but who knows what you use it for? Who will to prosper if he works hard, perseveres arts and make good of his mind, but you don't need that. You pray to get rich by intimidating, cheating, begging other people. What kind of prayer is that? It is simply plunder, beggar of the part of the person who has lost his conscience and the honor. Supposing you've chosen this path and gained possession of lifestyle, well, use it to get an education, if not for yourself, but for your son. They can be easy faith and not build without an education. Without learning, no prayers or fasts or pilgrimages will achieve their purpose. I have yet seen a person who has acquired by dishonest means has put it to good use. Your garden gains are likewise expended. And the nothing of such wealth, bitterness of the disappointment, anger and anguish of the soul. While he has a wealth, he will boast and swear. Having frittered it away, he will brag of your former affluence. Impoverish it, he'll start begging. He'll start begging. He'll start begging.
There's a great song and poem by a boy named Kuzun'un Karası. Have you ever heard this song in a foreign language? In French, for example? If you haven't, here's a great chance to listen to this masterpiece in a language of love.
So, join me in welcoming our English language teacher. This is time from School Gymnasium 91. Şakiyatova Kazına Isinharna Kuzun'un Karası Fransız dilinde From Dance with You.
program, and in order to open our today's conference, please join me in welcoming the English language methodologists from the Methodological Center of the City of Astana, Amirova Altnay-Bikpaeva.
ELT perspective practices challenges and motivation Республикалық ғылыми-танымдық конференцияның атқарушы кеңесі. Ұйымдастыру комитетінің атынан сіздерді ағылшын тілін оқытудағы өзекті мәселелерге арналған маңызды іс-шараны бастауға қуаныштымын. Тәжірибеңізбен, біліміңізбен бөлісу үшін бүгінгі конференцияға келгендеріңізге алғысымызды білдіреміз. Біздің тақырыбымыз ELT perspective practices challenges and motivation. Ағылшын тілін оқытудың үнемі өзгеріп, әлі жетілдіріп отыратынын көрсетеді. Жаһандану және технологиялық жетістіктер дәуірінде педагогтар мен зерттеушілер өз жұмыстарында жаңа мүмкіндіктер мен міндеттерге тап болады. Біздің конференция қазіргі заманғы ағылшын тілін оқыту тәжірибесін қалыптастыратын осы перспективаларды, қиындықтарды және білім алушылардың мотивациясын арттыру мүмкіндіктерін талқылауды қамтамасыз етуге бағытталған. конференцияның маңызды бөлігі мотивация боласына назар аудару. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and honored guests, I'm delighted to welcome you all to the conference on ELT perspective, practices, challenges and motivation. It's my pleasure to see so many educators, researchers and practitioners gathered here today to share their knowledge and insights on English language teaching. I'm sure that the Republican Scientific and Practical Conference will be fruitful and inspiring event that will contribute to the development of ELT in our country. I wish you all a productive and enjoyable conference. Thank you for joining us today.
If you want to achieve, challenge yourself. Our next speaker's speech is fully devoted to the challenges of educational change, global competence, and the relevant vernacular.
Келесі сөз Ахмет Байтұрсынұлы атындағы Талдау ұлттық зерттеулер және білімді бағалау орталығының бас қолдаушысы, Қазақстан Республикасының білім беру ісінің құрметті қызметкері, халықаралық ұйымның консультативтік кеңесінің мүшесі, елшісі Advisory Board of Harvard K-12, PISA өнім сапасының менеджері Байкешева Білімгүл Тлеповнаға беріледі.
Осындай керемет күннің өздерімен бірге болғанына қуаныштымын. So, dear colleagues, I'm delighted really to be a part of this powerful community, of this beautiful gathering of teachers, because I'm here with special address to you, in fact. Teachers of English today play a crucial role in overcoming the challenges, in evolving changes of educational system in Kazakhstan. To my mind, you are experts number one who can teach global competence effectively in order to raise globally minded young generation. And can I have my presentation? Well, while it is getting ready, let me explain the rationale of why choosing this topic. Thank you. First, let me explain the rationale of this topic. There are two factors. The other day I read a book, Rethinking Schooling in the 21st Century. The authors of this book analyzed concepts embedded in CDG, as you know, Sustainable Development Goals, in curriculum and in policy, in textbooks. And the conclusion they drew was that those concepts were a little vague, and some concepts were even like learner-centered approach, creative, reflective learner. They were absent from official educational discourse, unfortunately. There was more of instrumental approach to education. There was an elitist approach to education, whereas it's a public good. And the other thing is, another reason is, as a national coordinator of TALIX, I was providing national quality observances throughout the regions of Kazakhstan, and I witnessed how teachers are struggling with some terms like AI, sustainable development, diversity, while taking part while answering survey questions. And this also served as the reason of my choosing this topic and share with you. And today, as you know, talking about just general challenges in educational challenges, we cannot but mention diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's even in business. you know, large corporations, they stress, they monitor their demographic profile. For what? To win talents and to have a global image. And that's where our young generation is going to work. So it is already on the go, I mean. So education is a basic skill, basic necessity, and it has to serve as foundation for improvement and development. So DIY, D-I-N-E, there are even DIE experts in business today. And another thing is, as a member of special group who wrote national report about the state and progress of education system in Kazakhstan, we studied the world trends and then situation of within Kazakhstan, and I can know, but I've chosen the main challenges I'd like to share with, a few words about the content. So 21st century skills is a buzzword. It's really a buzzword. More than scores of years here, we're talking about 21st century skills. It's in educational landscape. Then, but what is the real practice of teachers of developing these 21st century skills? What is their real situation? What conditions are provided? What is their training like? And as practitioners, we need to hear the voice of practitioners who are implementing this. Then, what about large-scale assessments? What do they say? What are the results of, for example, PISA and other large-scale assessments? What we gain from them. Then next step is I'll be talking about why is it important and how to be a future-ready teacher, especially in teaching global competence. Then my next focus will be global competence as a case, separate case. It is a part of functional literacy, you know, and you know that our teachers 2 years ago brought this new subject into their exciting, brand new subject into their classes as change-making agents. And we'll talk about the implications and recommendations later. So, challenge number one. It is global teachers shortage. We realize, we're all aware that we need teachers for the education we want. We need qualified teaching workforce. But there is a shortage, as you can see. Oh, it's not visible here. This is the data 2023. About 44,000 teachers are needed to provide education. As for Central Asia, as you can see, new teaching posts 343,000. As you can see, in some countries, they need, in Sub-Saharan, for example, thousands of teachers for filling new posts, and in some countries, like in Europe, they need about 310,000 teachers, again for teaching posts. And as you can see, what a tremendous crisis here. And next one is this is from National Educational Base Data, national report of 2022. Here is the shortage by regions in Kazakhstan. In percentage, just look at Costa 9. they need about 705, yeah? Just total shortage is about 4,000 teachers are needed. 4,000 teachers are still needed to places. Next challenge I'd like to share with you is the pedagogy for digital generation, the learning, assessment, and teaching for contemporary education. What we are doing, what we have, and how we are implementing it. So another buzzword is AI. Everyone has heard. Does it really tailor learning to individual needs? If it does, then we need what? As you have guessed, extensive preparation of teachers around AI, about effective use of AI. Then, for example, talking about AI, I'm using there was an OECD Department of Education Director Schleicher was invited to Education Summit last year, and this is taken from his presentation. OECD tested AI, it can interpret. So this is really strong power, and we need strong teaching workforce to implement it. So if we think about new ways of learning, teaching, and assessing, if application of AI is inevitable, we can see its privileges. You can use it in order to automate the process, support your learning, your teaching, improve, engage, personalize. And popular trends of using AI in education are intelligent tutoring systems, like robots teaching little kids, yeah? There is an active interaction and personalized approach. Then smart learning environments. Next, design of curriculum. This is also crucial. It has three forms like psychology, content, and pedagogical consideration. If one of these four is not sufficient, is unavailable, then quality will suffer. For example, 15-year-olds report lower creativity than 10 years old, but it is 21st century skill where we are talking about 24 years. Since the beginning of this millennium. Why? This is another challenge. Next, I'd like to share is the challenge of collaborative research. Teachers are intended readership of all research results. We need to collaborate. We know that quality of school never exceeds the quality of teachers, but the quality of teachers never exceeds the quality of training. We need to collaborate, to interact, to grow together, to share our experience in order to promote effective learning. Especially teachers of English, there is a dual role of teaching English because foreign languages now play a crucial role to promote intercultural understanding. And you know that policy never happens in vacuum. We need to take active participation in decision-making process, in expressing our ideas. Right now, the last 2 years I've been providing this quality inquiry with teachers who teach global. Nicholas, I was thinking about to compare when it is taught by an English teacher or by someone else to see the difference. So, and because through this subject we are trying to develop thinking skills, reasoning skills, presentation skills, and these are all necessary to be in order to be properly trained to develop diverse, creative, open, and adaptive students. Then, as I found out, some teachers had poor understanding why this new subject came, why was it integrated into curriculum out of blue, frankly speaking. So, you know, PISA 2018 as innovative domain, and in its innovative domain, it always assesses, like in PISA 22, we assessed critical thinking, yeah? In PISA 2018, they asked the question, are our students ready to thrive in an interconnected world? It was really very interesting, and as you know, Kazakhstan is among lower achievers. Now we have a program, we have resources, we have teachers trained, and what is their real practice? What are their challenges? That's what interests me. I'm going to present a little example, because this was a globally integrated reading task, but unlike no purpose, it was context-based. So this time there's interpret some perspectives. Oh yeah, one more table. In order to show the performance of global cognitive tests of Kazakhstan. Here are the regions of Kazakhstan. Just pay attention to the levels from below 1, which is practically functional illiteracy level. Then below, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just look at 5, level 5, 0.9. This is the highest of the score of this level. Then 3.4, level 4, 9.5, which is intermediate, relatively easy level, but only 9.5 score was achieved by Almaty, by the students of Almaty city. If you just pay attention to the first column, below level 1, majority is there. Majority 65.7 is Atral region. They achieved this portion of the tasks of the illiteracy level. This is our situation. This is our situation. And the question is what we are doing to improve this situation. Let's have a look at this task. This is very interesting. We don't have these kind of tasks, but we can learn from them. We can increase our potential. It says, in cases such as one intervener, citizens may be forced to become climate refugees. Climate refugees are people who are forced to leave their communities or countries because of environmental disasters. What is one change that climate refugees would be likely to face when moving to a new place? Open question, requiring open response, open, clear response. Just pay attention even to the word combination itself, climate refugee. You know, it's always easy to relate to your situation. Learning is easy when it is related to your personal situation. Again, with Nicholas today in the morning, we were discussing this situation of flood, yeah, in regions of Kazakhstan. They are climate refugees. They are now moving from other places, losing their homes. Then they're facing problems. But this is the situation when you move to another country, when you leave your home country. So the answers should be around communication, economics, and their conditions. Students may answer that they might face discrimination, or they can't find a job because they don't know local language. Then they cannot communicate with local people because they are different. And this kind of responses will be all right. But there is global understanding. There is that communication. So just as an example, let's move to this global competence in a relevant vernacular. So what is it? What is it? My own kid is at school, and she came home and said, "Mom, could you explain what is Jahanda Qozretrik?" It's not a straightforward task. You can't explain it. It needs time to debate, to negotiate, broader negotiation with public, because our journalist said new subject with 2 new foreign words. Глобальная компетентность. Что за новый предмет с 2 новыми иностранными словами? But what is global? So it's our social life. It's our social life. First, core concepts should be explained properly. They should embed teaching. They should embed teaching practice, the subject curriculum. There must be glossary of terms, because global is a dynamic and ongoing process. It's an ongoing process, but education can shape it. So then it is learning to live together in peace, in other words. Then let me talk about those pillars of UNESCO. Like, we learn in order to know. We learn in order to be and to live. And they added one more very important pillar that can be used with high school students, learning to transform oneself and society. Here, when we are going to global citizenship education, to sustainable education. And those in white are taken from the glossary. There is a book that I recommend to read. The author is Kazakh writer Akmarel Arslanbekova. She wrote a very nice book, Globalization. And there is that glossary, and there is very good explanation of concepts as a process, as a phenomenon. So we talking about globalization, we talk about hard power, soft power, information society, media literacy, and so on. So I think, do we have a time to watch short video? If not, I can go on, or we can come back while we decide. And another part of this combination, what is competence? It's just our capability. If we learn to know, to be, to grow, and to develop, we need knowledge and skills. Individual forces are very important. Individual skills, like equity in education, yeah? Personalized approach. Then our attitudes play a tremendous role. Our social roles, self-perception, then appropriate to global context, attitudes and skills, and care about global issues. So, finally, I want to say that when reforms, when some programs fail, it is customary to shift the blame to a teacher, unfortunately. But what about their support? What about their working conditions? What about the resources that you provide? What about feedback that you provide to them? Then discourse, their participatory attitude to be, so dear teachers, you are to be active members of decision-making process. It is really time to talk about the challenges to make change. Really a crucial shift in education, because we need, it's a crucial shift because those project-based learning, social-emotional learning, they are all encircled in global competence. They are all in global competence. You can team teach with STEM subjects. So you can have joint projects. And that preparedness, that perception, that real practice of teachers are really sad. Are really sad. Your voice and your opinion might be at the center of all the discussions. Please gain opportunity to participate in educational policy decision-making process and review things with critical analysis. You are, again, #1 experts who could provide effective global competence teaching, who could share with your experience, who could help other teachers to have very good presentation, very good promoting. I talked about our micro-realities, but they really do play very crucial role. And then finally, I want to say that every challenge happening, complex or not, affects every one of us. Think about COVID-19. Everything that happens, complex or small, large or small, complex or primitive, they all affect us, every one of us. So we need cooperative activity. We need to acquire that mastery, to be highly motivated and to be involved in what we deal with in our everyday activities. So so it is really time, dear colleagues, to rethink, to reimagine, and to rebuild the fundamental priorities of educational policy. The potential of education for promoting collective prosperity is beyond doubt. And Sustainable Development Goals is not a one-off menu, it is our big goal. It is our big goal which we need to move ahead. It is really time to treat teachers as partners. We need highly motivated teachers. We need to evoke their professional interest, their excitement, and support them. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much for such an illuminating and thought-provoking speech.
Of course, education is very important. It is the base, the foundation of every person's growth, and it's it influences not only one country, but the whole world overall. Thank you. Okay, today we will have a journey through different tasks as innovation and technologies come close to each other and support the teachers in the development of professional competence in English.
Dear participants, esteemed colleagues, it's my honor to introduce our next speaker, the head of the Multilingual Education Laboratory of the National Academy of Education, named after Brahim Salim, Master of Education Management of the Royal College, graduate of the Bolashak program, Kapasla Guna Anatana. Please welcome.
Thank you very much. Salamat Sarma. I'm Gulmira Kanatovna, and unfortunately I'm covering my colleague who should have presented her presentation, so that's why I'll read a bit, I think, to you. So, last week I had a chance to visit the city in the south of the UK, which was Brighton, and I was there at the conference, ITFL conference, which is International Conference and Exhibition, which is considered the main event in English language teaching. It was indeed a unique opportunity to meet leading trainers, theorists, practitioners, and material writers, publishers, and it was also a good opportunity to exchange some ideas with fellow professionals from all over the world. And do you have any ideas what were we talking about, what were we discussing? What were the topics? Education. Any other ideas? Innovations. Okay. Yes. So I made a cloud of words using the list of the topics discussed at the conference, and you may see the main words. Yeah, it's teaching, of course. It's learning, teacher. It's artificial intelligence. Yeah. English language teaching, assessment, students, language, and so on. And as we stand at the precipice of a new era marked by globalization and interconnectedness, the importance of foreign language education cannot be overstated. Today I stand before you with the topic emerging innovations in foreign language education, strategies, and pedagogical shift. Look at this phrase by John Dewey. If we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of tomorrow. It's thought-provoking, isn't it? Indeed, our world is rapidly evolving, and so too must our approach to language learning. Gone are the days of rote memorization and static textbooks. Instead, we find ourselves at the forefront of a revolution in pedagogy driven by dynamic strategies. Just look at this task. What does this task lack? Do you have any ideas?
Instruction.
Okay, instruction, then? Pictures. And what can students learn from this task? Vocabulary, yeah. Can the student use and can the student participate in the communication by doing this task? No, yeah. Because there is no application, there is no usage of this, yeah. Our students can't. So this task was traditional. We did this when we were students, when we were school pupils, yeah. But now we should teach in a different way. We should teach to communicate, yeah. And of course, we should use new approaches.
teaching methods, tailoring them to their specific context and reviewing the impact they have. Language learning strategies are techniques used to help acquire a new language. Strategy is carefully planned activity used to achieve a goal. Foreign language teaching and learning have evolved from teacher-centered, as my colleague said, to learner-centered environments. Learner-centered learning gives students the opportunity to decide two things: what material they learn and how they learn it. Socrates said, we cannot teach anybody anything. We can only make them think. So if the student don't want to learn something, he won't. So we should make opportunities for students to think about what are they learning. The primary objectives for educators is to enhance students' functional literacy. With over 50 competencies recognized globally, it's essential to cultivate select skills to prepare students adequately for real-world challenges. This is the table with some of the skills only, some important or significant skills like communication skills, mathematical skills, active skills, and some of them are assessed by PISA, as was mentioned by my colleague. And I also made a list of some strategies to make personalized learning effective. It's clear, you know, this cooperative language learning, the direct method, task-based language teaching, PBL, communicative language teaching, natural approach, and so on. So there are, the list is long actually, and I took just some of them. Keep also in mind that these strategies can be adapted and combined in various ways to suit different learners, contexts, and educational goals. The use of a teaching strategy varies and it applies according to the need and objectives of the lesson. Are these strategies innovative? Some of them may be, but I think no. So something innovative means it's new, and it's original. An important question to consider is how to teach English effectively as a foreign language to students today. So how can we should teach them? It's important for teachers to apply innovative learning strategies to meet today's learning needs. But what is considered innovative today? Innovative means using something new, and what is something new? My colleague also mentioned it. It's artificial intelligence, it's ChatGPT, and other platforms. And important, look at these pictures. So, these two pictures. The first picture is about predictable reality, which we lived before. We lived this reality in Soviet Union. It was predicted. We knew we finished the school, we will have the job, and so on. And today, our reality is unpredictable. It's alternative. We can choose from some opportunities and so on. We may have some challenges like COVID, as it was mentioned, or flood, or something else, or ChatGPT even, which makes our life different. So, and by the way, these pictures were generated by ChatGPT. In addition to innovative pedagogical approaches, technology has played a transformative role in language education. Digital tools and platforms offer unprecedented opportunities for personalized learning experience. Adaptive software can tailor instruction to individual learners' needs, providing together practice in the area where they need improvement. So now let's see the short overview of the lesson. Here, this is the aims for grade 10. Here you see, this is from our curricula, and CFAR level is B2. Do you see it? Все увидели? Где level можно найти в программе? Потому что есть учителя, которые еще не могут найти уровень класса в программе. То есть в Padlet заходите, в Padlet есть программа, в программе есть цели,
И вот у нас странд 4, в каждом странде указан уровень. То есть это учитель обязательно должен знать. And here we have level B2. This is for grade 10. So let's take the aim 10.4.2. Understand specific information and detail in extended text on a range of familiar, general, and curricular topics and some unfamiliar topics. So, and this is the task. This is brochure, yeah? What we'll do with this? To achieve the aim, we may use CLL approach, cooperative language learning. To do the task, I as a teacher, I would divide the class into groups and ask them to prepare questions for highlighted words. Here we have IELTS test and packaged up. So are there any volunteers who can make questions? I have something for them. Gifts. Anyone?
Can you clarify?
We need to make the questions to the highlighted words.
Okay.
Okay, so?
Just make a question. Did you pass your IELTS test?
Okay. So, and the second? Package style?
What kind of information is available in the package?
Okay, good. So I have two gifts for you.
Not for me.
So this is for you.
Nice.
Just because I'm a former teacher and you may give someone. Okay. So thank you for your answers. And to make the lesson more interesting and innovative, I would ask them to use ChatGPT. I would ask students to use ChatGPT to make some more questions and compare them with their own questions and discuss those questions. So by the end of the task, they understand specific information in detail, as it was here, yeah, and can improve their communicative, critical thinking skills and IT skills as well, and become more functional literate. Can someone tell me what critical thinking is? Because I know that some teachers confuse critical thinking with something else. So what is critical thinking?
Do you have more gifts?
Okay, questioning. Analysis, yeah? Analysis. So, because I've heard that some teachers confuse critical thinking with creative thinking. So, creative thinking and critical thinking are two different skills, yeah? So, and critical thinking is not about creativity, it's about analysis. This is what we need to foster to work with artificial intelligence, yeah? We need to have high level of critical thinking in order to be able to work with artificial intelligence, with ChatGPT. And here you can access this QR code and get your IELTS teaching pack. It should be free. This was at the conference. Actually, you may use now or by the end. So, and I also prepared a list of sources, links, yeah, for teachers to use. You'll have some materials, also should be for free, and I also have some brochures. Altna Bigbar, I'll give it to you, and you may share with your teachers. You may take photos and so on. So, and from artificial intelligence powered language tutors to interactive language applications, the digital realm offer a wealth of resources to support and enhance language acquisition. Through gamification, adaptive learning algorithms, and multimedia content, technology has the potential to personalize the language learning experience, catering to the individual needs and preferences to each learner. However, perhaps the most performative innovative lies in the pedagogical shift that is underway. Rather than viewing language learning as a solitary pursuit, educators are recognizing the importance of collaborative. By my colleague, fostering functional education is the key. There are more than 50 competencies in the world, and we should develop some of them, at least some of them, as it was shown in the table. By emphasizing real-world communication and task-based learning, instructors empower students to actively engage with language and meaningful context, thereby fostering fluency and communicative competence. In conclusion, I'd like to say that the emergence of innovative strategies, technologies, and pedagogical approaches represent a paradigm shift in foreign language education. By embracing these innovations, we have the power to revolutionize the way we teach and learn languages, opening doors to new opportunities and enriching lives in the process. Let us seize this moment to shape a future where language is not a barrier, but a bridge that connects us all. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, no, we are very happy that you got to take part in the IE conference and you're sharing your experience with other teachers in our country. I think every English teacher knows about this event because participants from our country, from Kazakhstan, were sharing their stories on Instagram last week. So thank you very much.
Kazakhstan is a multilingual country hosting more than 10 embassies just in Astana. The contribution and support which is given by US Embassy towards English language teachers is more than appreciated.
As we gather here today to explore the frontiers of science and knowledge, it's fitting that we hear from the individuals who play a pivotal role in education. Without further ado, let us welcome our speaker from the US Embassy, Professional Associate Representative of the Public Diplomacy Section, Sarah Miss, and Olga Patrova, Coordinator of the English Language Programs from the US Embassy. Please welcome.
Thank you very much. Let me introduce myself. I'm Olga Patrova. I work with English language programs at the US Embassy, and I'm glad to see many familiar faces here. And it's an honor for me to be here today and see so many enthusiastic teachers. So nice to meet you, if we have not met before. As for our programs, I will introduce... Can we have a presentation? Oh, okay. So I will introduce our English language programs and resources to you. Yes, and they all are free for you, but sometimes you really need to make some efforts to push the button, for example, to participate, or send the application form, or just read the web page with our resources. I will draw attention to these facts to you while I am speaking. Okay, some of our programs they are mostly for administrations of the educational organizations, for universities, for city departments of education, and that's why I will very briefly look through them and introduce them to you. But please be attentive, because at the end I will have several questions, and of course, if you're attentive, you will get a little present. Okay? Okay, can we have the first slide, please? Okay, the first program. Okay, thank you. It took a while. We have an English language fellow program which allows us to bring English language fellows, English language teachers from the United States of America to Kazakhstan. Usually we put them at the universities all around Kazakhstan, and they have pre-service teachers, first of all, to develop their English language skills and be better future English language teachers. Because our English language fellows, they usually work at the departments of foreign philology at the universities or 2 foreign languages. So the target audience is pre-service teachers who are future teachers of English, and the fellows, they're here for 1 academic year. Now in Kazakhstan we have 7 English language fellows, and they are located in Aktau at the Sienov University, Aktobe, Zhubanov Regional University, Almaty, Kazakh National Women's Teacher Training University, Kokshetau, Orlikhanov University, Pavlodar Pedagogical University, Petropavlovsk, Kazbayev, North Kazakhstan University, and Turkestan, Ahmed Yesevi, Kazakh-Turkish International University. So they not only work with pre-service teachers, but they also can provide sometimes training for English language teachers already in service in their communities, locations. They also are involved in activities at American Corners. Probably you have heard about such platforms. The US Embassy has all around Kazakhstan in 10 locations. They also help us with the English Access Micro Scholarship Program, and about this program we will talk a little bit later. Next program I would like to introduce, as for English Language Fellow program, if you are from Astana, and I'm sure the majority of teachers here are from Astana, you met our English Language Fellow, August Garcia, who been involved in activities with Astana English language teachers last academic year, and he provided a lot of trainings and workshops for English language teachers of secondary schools in Astana. So the same activities our fellows provide also in other locations, but their main job work at universities for 1 academic year with pre-service students. English Language Specialist Program, it also might be of your interest because very soon we'll have an English Language Specialist here in Astana, and actually in 3 cities of Kazakhstan. It's in Astana, Kokshetau, and Almaty. And English Language Specialist will work here, we made a proposal and sent a proposal in cooperation with the City Department of Education Methodological Center to invite English language specialists from the United States. What is the difference between English language specialist and the English language fellow program? Fellows, they come to Kazakhstan and work for 1 academic year with pre-service students. English language specialists, they come to Kazakhstan for shorter periods of time and work with English language teachers on some specific area in English language teaching methodology. For example, the specialist we're expecting very soon, he will work and concentrate on teaching academic writing and basics of research skills. And the target audience for these very trainings, it will be English language teachers of secondary schools in Almaty, Astana, and Kokshetau. So if you are interested, please contact Altana Amirova, and she will explain the procedure to you. Thank you very much. The next program. The next program I am going to talk about is English Access Scholarship Program. Now it got the new name, just English Access Program. And the target audience for this very program is disadvantaged youth. In Kazakhstan, we work with mostly with children from 13 to 15 years old. In order to participate in this program, we are looking for providers, not just individual students. I also would like to tell you that this very fall of 2024, we will have program here in Astana, and we will have it in one of the libraries of Almaty region of Astana city, and actually we, in cooperation cooperation with Almaty region Akimat of Astana city, we decided to open this program here in Astana. So again, if you have students who are disadvantaged but bright and motivated, please keep it in mind. And sometime in August, we will put this information on our social media, and we would like participation in this program. Some are really competitive, some are just self-paced. So let me, and I'm sure that in our audience today we have teachers who participated in these programs, and if we have, please raise your hands if you participated in, for example, open global online courses. Okay, I'm very glad, and probably your testimonies to the groups and will be essential, because of course my role is just to draw your attention to the program, but if to talk about experience, I think your colleagues can share more. So we have open global online courses for English teachers. These courses are very intensive, they online university level courses, and it's a programming for teachers from American universities such as Arizona State University, Iowa State University, University of Maryland, and others. And the courses they propose, and they differ from year to year, but as you can see the examples, for example, fostering student motivation and engagement, which is really very important in our actual and in our reality today, right? Or TESOL methodology, which is always of interest of a lot of teachers, or developing and teaching academic writing courses. So we usually announce these courses twice a year. Next announcement will be on our web page and social media sometime in the fall. So please apply. This program is competitive, so you need to apply. You need to write your statement of purpose and you will be selected. This program requires dedication. If you decide to participate, please be sure that you have about 8 or 10 hours per week to study, because it's really intensive program. So I would recommend that you participate in this program. Here's the explanation how to apply. You need to submit your application through Google Forms. This information will be on our website and social media. You need to submit your CV as well, motivation letter. And as you can see, we are looking for English language teachers and educators from public schools, usually with experience in English language teaching, and program length is 8 weeks. So please consider this option. Next program, and I would recommend this one for those who are very self-disciplined, because it's a self-paced program, and if you begin it, if you start it, you need to finish it. Otherwise it will be just, it's up to you whether you are able to finish it or not, but no, you do not have facilitators, you do not have anybody who will guide or lead you, but sometimes those courses are also facilitated, but not really very often. So again, as you can see, the majority of them are for English language teachers, but some of them are for anybody actually, and anybody can participate. Some of them are for STEM teachers, English for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, for example. Again, you can check our website. The information is on the bottom of the page, and register and participate in this course. And webinars. Webinars probably the easiest step to start with our programs, because it will you will check your dedication, you will check whether you have time to work how you react to the course. So I would recommend to start with this if you never participated in any digital programs or courses. And as you can see, we're expecting Series 20 to start really very soon. It will start on May 15th. So if you're interested, please register. Visit American English for Educators site, and you can attend these webinars in a live Facebook page. I would say it's the first step for you to start working with our digital programs. And the last resource I would like to introduce to you is American English Online, and it's a great website where you can find a lot of resources for English language teachers and English language learners. You can download a lot of resources without copyrights. So just the only thing you need to do just to go there, to browse the site and to find resources. And believe me, you will find there a lot of ready-to-go resources according to the levels and skills of English language learning, so please try it. And as for information, you can find information on Facebook, Instagram. I mean, if we're talking about ongoing programs or upcoming programs, everything will be there. And US Embassy website. And as for now, I'm kind of alone working on English language programs. We'll have a new person coming, and the person will help us with resources and programs as well. And now I just have several questions to ask. And please just be attentive, okay? So what is the difference? Who can tell me? What is the difference between English language fellow and English language specialist program?
Fellow program, this is for one academic year. The person comes to Kazakhstan and works with students for 1 year. And specialist program is for short amount of time, and it is for in-service teachers.
Great, great. Okay, thank you. The next question. What is the most competitive digital course of the US Embassy? Who first said open global? Okay, thank you. Who is the target audience for English Access program? That lady. Okay, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, that's it for today from me, and Sarah, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Olga. Okay, so my name is Sarah Smith. I work together with Olga at the U.S. Embassy. First, I wanted to see a show of hands. Is anybody in the room a U.S. government exchange program alumnus? Has anybody been on? Yes, excellent. Which programs? The Fulbright T program. How about T? Also Fulbright T. Okay, I'll start by talking about that program. So one of the things that I'm lucky enough to work on at the U.S. Embassy are exchange programs. So I'll start with the Fulbright T program. This is one of the primary programs that we have for English teachers like yourself. This So T stands for Teaching Excellence and Achievement. The Fulbright T program is directed at secondary school teachers of English or who teach in English. It is for experienced teachers. You have to have at least 3 years experience teaching English. You have to spend at least 20 hours teaching in the classroom. If you have additional duties like administrative duties, that is okay. It is a 6-week professional development program in the United States for secondary school teachers. It includes training at a university, followed by some job shadowing. I want to encourage everybody in this room who's interested in this program to apply. Applications open in the fall. I've reversed Olga's slides a little bit to our social media and our website because that's where you'll find the announcement. It's a very competitive application process each year. We can only send a few teachers each year, but it's a really great program, and as I'm sure our alumni in the room can attest. And we love to see a sort of diverse applicant pool every year, so I want to encourage everybody to apply. If you have applied in the past and not been selected, I want to encourage you to keep applying because it's a really great program. We can't send everybody, so we would love to see people reapplying. So please, I want to encourage you to apply for the Fulbright T program. So that's the primary exchange program that we have for teachers. I'd also like to talk a little bit about the programs that we have for secondary school students so that you can encourage your students to apply for those programs. Because we really believe in the power of exchange programs just to bring our countries together, to teach both of our countries a little bit more about one another, right? Who's familiar with the FLEX program? This is a very popular one, yes. Okay. So FLEX stands for Future Leaders Exchange Program. It is a program for students from Kazakhstan and other countries to spend 1 academic year in the United States. They attend secondary school in the United States. They live with a host family. They're placed at secondary schools all throughout the United States. They don't necessarily go to big cities, although some do. They might go to the middle of the country or to they're placed in all 50 states. So they could go to Hawaii or they could go to Iowa. They go to rural areas, they go to small towns. They live with American families. They get a real, honest to goodness American experience. They attend an American high school. So it's a 1-year study, 1 academic year, study abroad and homestay experience for in an American high school. The idea is not just that it's an English program, although of course they do get excellent English language skills as a result of this immersion, but for them to, understand American culture and build cultural ties. It's an extremely competitive program, of course, because it's very popular, but if you have students who you think would benefit from this and who you think have that spirit, who you think would really enjoy going to the United States and experiencing the real America, I would encourage you to have them apply. The application period opens actually before the end of the school year not the following year, but the year following, but that it closes in September of each year. It's a multi-stage application process managed by our implementing partner, American Councils, and it's quite rigorous, but again, if you have students who you think have that outgoing spirit, who you think would really enjoy that process, I encourage them to apply. 2 other programs for secondary students, specifically girls. These are shorter term programs that I'd like you to be aware of, maybe less well known than the FLEX program. The Tech Girls program. If you have female high school students aged 15 to 17 who have strong English skills and who are interested in going into STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, math, the Tech Girls program is a summer exchange program. It's hosted at Virginia Tech University, and then they also do programming in another city as part of the program. They do hands-on skills development. They learn about things like rocketry and other science things. It's a really great program. It's done over the summer, and it's for women who are interested, young women, high school girls, who are interested in pursuing careers in science and technology. That application period also is in the fall. And so we'll see the announcement of that also on our social media. If you have girls in your high school classes who are interested in these fields, definitely encourage them to apply. It's a great program, and we've seen some really fantastic applicants from Kazakhstan. It's really inspiring to meet them every year. They're really promising and wonderful. The second one, which may be less well known, is the SUSI program for Young Women Leaders. SUSI stands for Study of the United States Institute. We have an open application process for young women leaders. This is actually for undergraduates, but if you have recent graduates of yours that you know who have gone on to study at university who are particularly interested in environmental sciences or ecology-related issues, STEM fields, this is a program. It's again a summer program, so it's a little bit easier to manage with their workload. This is again an open application process that opens in the fall, and if you have recent graduates, students of yours who you think might be interested in this, they don't have to be necessarily biologists, but somebody who maybe did some volunteer work in that area and showing interest. That's another one that might be less well known. Additional resources that we have for young people. We have our Education USA advising centers. We have currently advisors located in, I would encourage you, if you have students who are interested in studying in the United States, either for undergraduate study or for short-term study, including language study, including summer studies, I would encourage you to reach out to our Education USA advisor in Astana, maybe nearest one here. It's a free of charge service. They do test preparation advice. They talk about how to apply, how to find a school that might be a good fit for a student who's interested or curious about studying in the United States. A lot of these services, which students normally pay a lot of money for, are available for free from Education USA. They do virtual webinars on a regular basis for groups. They also have individual advising services for students who are quite serious about applying. So I would encourage any student who might be interested in studying in the United States to reach out to Education USA. It's a resource that's really valuable, and I'd like to see people taking advantage of. And finally, of course, we have our American corner. We have 10, as Olga mentioned, throughout Kazakhstan. Our American corner in Astana is located at Eurasian National University. There are a lot of great resources there, not only for students, but for teachers as well. We have clubs and other resources for teachers, for English language learning, for English language teachers. And if we don't have an activity that suits your needs now, you're absolutely welcome to volunteer and start something there as well. It's meant to be a meeting space. It's meant to be a resource in a club. We have physical materials that you can use and take out there, including on English language learning. It's one of our 6 core pillars. And it's meant to be something for you to use. So I encourage you to take advantage of that resource as well. And that's all that I have.
Thank you, Ms. Olga and Ms. Sara, for your inspiring speech. I think our team of information in line with the program suggested by U.S. Embassy. And I think that the most famous in Astana is tea.
So that's why I think I am mindful that another person will speak after me. I will try to cut short my presentation from 30 minutes to 20 minutes only. And also another reason I have to go because it's the middle of grading dissertations, as well as we have partner university professors from University of Pennsylvania. I apologize, I cannot speak to the end. Well, this is maybe before I start, and I think the organizers were allowing me to do 30 minutes, very engaging, interactive session. Probably some of the interaction I will cut, and also I can send the slides. You can see it, and then I think we can get in touch if you have any questions. My slides are in Russian, but I will be speaking English. Once upon a time, I was also an English language teacher. I graduated from foreign language department, and I started working at the university. Because of English, I was able to study abroad, including my doctoral degree in Canada and University of Toronto. And I think, of course, there were so many other very highly, very gifted people, but because of lack of English, they were not able to go. So that's why it's very fitting that I'm here today with you. I'll briefly talk about 3 things about my presentation. One is what is research. Second one is why we conduct research. Third one, how we conduct research. Why it's important for teachers all over Kazakhstan, because nowadays Kazakhstan introduced the requirement that teachers should be also researchers. The idea is that not a scientific research we should be doing, Basically, we conduct our research based on real inquiry and help our students to conduct research and learn through it. And by the way, I just wanted to also acknowledge that participants are from all over Kazakhstan. By the way, I just wanted to find out, any teacher from Taraz or Korday? Can you raise your hand? No one? I just want, oh, Korday? Taraz? And I thank you because you might be bringing some fresh air because I live across the border, Kyrgyzstan. So it's really good to see people from Taraz and Korday in Astana, because not very often they come here. Research. What is research? Research is really a systemic process of finding answers to the questions on a particular topic or particular question you ask, and you try to find the answer to that. That's basically the definition of research. But I want to pose a question: why do we conduct research? What are the purposes? I see my students sitting there also. What are the purposes? Number one, to contribute to the body of knowledge. Is there other reasons? Just to become famous? To publish? These are the reasons, dear colleagues. To contribute to the body of knowledge, to solve the problem, and also to address to a very pertinent issue. These are some of the things. But also, now I have a challenge for you, dear colleagues. Can I ask you to put these steps in a proper order? Think for a while and put them in a proper order. I confused you. Put them out of order. Think about it and raise your hand and tell well, just a minute. Give others also opportunity. And then take 1 or 2 minutes and then think about which will be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 6. But don't find out one and just say, I know the first one. Please, all the 6 steps. Okay? Somebody raise their hand in the back, yeah? What else, brother? Yeah? First one is a literature review? Then you end up doing literature review of everything. Another person? Which one? Number 6? Identify research problem. No, wait. Give others an opportunity, please. Okay, identify the problem. Then, but can I ask you to do all 6 ones at the same time? Do not just, maybe at the back, please. Okay, 6. Third, okay. Prepare and then answer, please. Fifth, then?
First and fourth.
Okay. I'm confused myself. Okay. Maybe. Давайте попробуем. 3. Okay. 5. Okay. 2. 1 and 4. I think it's very good. The only thing is that I would put something a little bit above. Normally, I think it's a very good sequence, but normally, I teach, by the way, I teach research to master students and doctoral students, and I also confuse my students a lot. And they don't like me when I start confusing them. This is a conventional step of any research. Yes, you first identify a topic.
Yes.
Without topic, you will end up reading everything.
Yes, sure.
You should know what kind of topic you want to study. Gifted education, dropout, or students are not doing well with the group work. Identify a topic, and then after that, please, we read literature. Why? Why do we read literature? Why do I insist my students to read literature? They need to know what other people wrote about it.
What have been
studied? What other people find it, and what do they say? And only then we specify purpose and research questions. Identify research questions after that. And then we prepare our instruments and collect data and analyze. We cannot analyze before we collect data. Finally, we write a report. Now I will be stopping, I think, let me just Okay, I will be spending about 10 more minutes, and then somebody is going to take me back to the university. Well, identify a topic. There are so many topics, and you are interested in so many things. Sometimes our students ask, not our students, sometimes doctoral students, master students ask the professor, give me a topic. So it should not happen. The topic theme should be really your own passionate topic. I don't have topics in my topic. It should be your topic. You should be interested. And also one more problem, sometimes some students have is that their topics is too big.
Yes.
Too vague. They want to solve the problem of not Kazakhstan, of the world with one research. And then they say, sorry, take it easy. Do a small research. You can solve the problem of the world later on. Then, why do we ask our students to do literature review? You are right. Without reading literature, you cannot conduct a study because maybe somebody conducted the research. Sometimes our students say in English, or there is no literature in Kazakh or in Russian. There is a literature in others. So, therefore, literature is necessary, but credible literature. The next one is the identify topic, develop research questions, and then purpose and research questions, very important. If you don't have good research question, your study will be about everything. It will be so vague and confusing. Therefore, research question is extremely important. Formulating is a skill, but then, where do you conduct your study? Who are your participants? Who are your respondents? And how do you negotiate with them is also important. Then how do you collect data? Now, can I ask you, colleagues, what kind of instruments do you know and use in order to collect data for your research? Interview is one. Aynash, you know something? Survey, interview? Questionnaire, survey is the same. Anything else? This focus group discussion, when you bring a lot of, like, 6 people in one group, and then focus group. And also my favorite is an observation. Is one. There are many instruments, but these are the key instruments of collecting data. You collect data, and then these are the steps, and I think you will get the slides, don't worry. These are the steps of really collecting data. Well, these are a few of them I already mentioned. And by the way, dear colleagues, when you conduct, it's a puzzle for you, question for you. If you are conducting focus group discussion, there will be often somebody who talks a lot, who dominates, and who speaks on behalf of others. What do you do then, my friends? What do you do if somebody is taking over the discussion and speaks all the time? My student, Dana, what do you do? Yes, you will say, thank you very much. What about you? У нас даже есть некоторые, которые за других говорят, мы так думаем, мы так решили. А я говорю, подождите, это вы? Ладно, а вы что думаете? Потому что некоторые любят за других говорить. Это странно. Это привык. Okay, 5 minutes. Interview, there are different types of interview, of course. I think I don't have to mention about all of them. Semi-structured, structured. It really depends what do you want to do, how do you want to do. Unstructured, but I think I don't want to turn it into a lecture, but there are many questions. Interview questions are crucial. Now, there shouldn't be like a confusing questions. Но давайте я, прежде чем я, наверное, завещу скоро, покажу вам, I will show you this question. Скажите, мои друзья, в чем проблема этого вопроса? Когда-то, some time ago, we wanted to conduct a research with other partner universities from abroad, and they sent me the whole list of their survey and interview questions. Sorry, it's a Western country, but I was not happy with their interviews, surveys. This is one of them. Пожалуйста, не снимайте на Instagram. Это в чем проблема этого вопроса, если вы проводите интервью? Расскажите, как друзья. Давайте вы тогда.
Вопрос предубеждений.
Предубеждений. Самый лучший. Да, я советский человек, я знаю много было хорошего, но такой вопрос нельзя задавать. Пусть респондент сам делает выводы и говорит вам. Это называется исследование, называется наводящий вопрос. Leading question. Leading question, you cannot ask leading question because you are answering, you are giving half of the answer.
Yeah. We are forcing them to answer, like yes, to agree already.
UNT is very bad. Do you agree? No, UNT may have a lot of good things also. And then I think main thing that I want to conclude is that action research that you know all very well.
Yeah, sure.
Action research is one of the research studies that many practitioner teachers do. Sometimes school teachers want to publish their work in Scopus. Okay, but that should not be the main requirement for school teachers. Because you conduct excellent classroom research, practitioner research. That should be the main body of the school teachers. Action research основан был давным-давно, но post-Soviet environment came relatively recently, NIS and other. But I got to know this in 1996 when I was doing my master's degree in Pakistan. Тогда я проводил исследования action research. Потом я пришел в Казахстан и начали все говорить, что action research. Но, по крайней мере, не обижайтесь, радуйтесь. Другие страны постсоветского пространства, они еще не начинали. Так что Казахстан впереди. К сожалению, Кыргызстан, откуда я родом сам, тоже только начинает. Да?
I have a question. Do we have any programs or maybe short courses for teachers to conduct this action research at schools?
In Nazarbayev University, we are preparing summer schools, but you can get in touch. But not only action research, but in general qualitative research, including action. Okay, I think colleagues, maybe 3 last minutes, maybe I'll just go quickly. By the way, action research, you all know the cycling process. Candice and McTaggart, famous diagram you can see. People ask, how long is action research? When does it start? When does it end? You decide when it starts, when it ends. But it can be cycle 2 cycles, 3 cycles. It's really when you think that you are ahead, you managed to address the problem. You found the solution. Then I think you can say, okay, now this topic I exhausted as a saturation, and I can choose another topic. Well, and Creswell also talks very importantly that it's really action research is excellent for practitioners, teachers, because in the past, my friends, teachers were passive recipients. Somebody from outside, somebody like me from university, would come to school and conduct research about you, on you. Sometimes they don't know what's happening in school. They don't know your reality. Therefore, when you conduct action research yourself, it's even better. Because my knowledge will be very limited, theoretical. Therefore, hero is the teacher. Teachers play. Even we researchers, if I go to your school, I will not call you my respondent. I will say co-researcher. You are also researching together with me. Well, I think this, because teachers know their classroom issues better than anyone else, any expert in the world. Be it Harvard or Cambridge or etc. You know your classroom better. Well, I think I'll just, it has so many benefits. I think you heard it many times. I don't want to turn it again, advocacy for action research, but in Kazakhstan, it has been introduced since 2011, and I think this Cambridge, particularly colleagues, Naziba Alibaeva, excellent colleague, she conducted PhD thesis in Cambridge on action research. She's a great advocate. And the latest study also came recently. I think basically teachers, as I mentioned, become more confident about their practices. They do not depend on external experts. They start valuing their own practices, and then their students' learning will improve. There are, of course, there are many obstacles, but I will just finish by showing this from Linsky's picture. Many of you have seen it many times. But really, what is the main idea? In order for teachers to be creative, in order for teachers to really do research, unfortunately, teachers are very busy. And the Harvard says it's intensification. Что такое интенсификация? Интенсификация – это перманентная перегруженность учителя. Это не только в мае или сентябре. Это постоянная перегруженность учителей, которые не позволяют им делать исследования, креативно работать. Вот поэтому учителя иногда мы должны отказаться. Уметь отказаться, а так мы хотим быть профессионалами, и на все согласен. Я тоже пришел из-за уважения Анары, а так я там должен был у себя работать. Пришел, потому что она пригласила. А так мы на все соглашаемся. Уважаемые друзья, иногда скажите, извините, сегодня у меня нет времени. Ладно, до свидания.
Браво! Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and thank you for deepening the audience engagement. Not only was the speech informative, but also exciting, I guess, because all the participants were quite active and the questions, the problems were relatable. And I hope it gave everyone some food for thought.
Our next guest will present to us the English for STEM Click Information in General. At the stage, please greet Nicholas Drapu, Director of the Language Center Next Level English, Director of the English for Journalists and English for STEM Projects, host of Salem Kazakhstan program on the Jibek Joli TV channel.
Good morning, everyone, and I'd like to thank the organizers of this event, the Astana Methodological Center, and also for Altanai Aminova for inviting me to share with you today. Right, so I just wanted to share a little bit about just myself and like why am I here? Who am I and why am I here? So I am the project director for the U.S. Embassy sponsored English for STEM project. This project is currently in its pilot phase, and so we are working with 67 STEM students in 2 cities in Kazakhstan. And these are students who are working, who are studying in university, and they are finishing their bachelor's degree, and they are potential candidates for a Balashak scholarship in the future. So we're focusing on these students. We had about 280 applications from STEM students from various universities in our 2 regional cities. That's Ust-Kamenogorsk and Kostanay. And so actually this project is not my only project. Our second project is the English for Journalists project, where we teach professional newsroom journalists. We teach them English language skills that they need for their career as media workers. That project has already been working now for 8 years, and we have 300 professional journalists. And we have... Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah. You can hear me, yeah? Okay. And so we have 300 professional journalists in 10 cities across Kazakhstan. And I'll share a little bit more about the English for Journalists if you're interested in my workshop session, which will be a little bit later. But yeah, I'd like to just focus on and just welcome all of you as teachers, because really you're preparing the future leaders tomorrow, and it's amazing. I love working with teachers, teacher training. I'm really passionate about it, and trying to help teachers to be creative, to bring critical thinking skills and curiosity into their classrooms. Right, so let's talk about research, as our colleague mentioned just now in that amazing presentation. The first step of research is to identify a problem, right? And so we, in working with the U.S. Embassy and speaking with Balashak and other representatives of the Ministry of Education in Kazakhstan, one problem was identified in that, for example, in Balashak, there is a large amount of funding that is going primarily towards students in the big cities, in Astana and Almaty. If I can read some statistics for you, in Balashak, just this last year, 2023, in the last 3 application cycles, there were 381 applications to STEM programs through Balashak. From that 381, 152 of them were in Astana, from Astana, which is about 40% of the total applications. And then another 20% or 76 applications from Almaty. And so we have 60% of Balashak applications coming just from the 2 main cities of Kazakhstan, Almaty and Astana. If we look at like the lowest applications for Balashak, that would be South Kazakhstan. And we focused on Kostan and Uсть-Kamenogorsk because there was only 3 or 4 applications for Balashak from each city. And the reason for this, mostly primarily, we understood it to be the English language skills of students. Especially in STEM fields, that level is quite low. And so we were looking at trying to bridge the gap between rural and urban education in Kazakhstan to try to give the rural students the same access to funding and the same potential and opportunities that students would have in Astana or in Almaty, right? So, and that was just the question that we raised: how can we support them? What can we do? And that's why we started to look at like an English for STEM course. And when we talk about English for STEM, what we're actually talking about really is CBI, content-based instruction, or CLIL as another buzzword. You know, the content and the language being integrated in the learning process. Content, language, integrated learning. So, and we look at why we would teach like a content or a subject matter through the medium of English and how to do it effectively. Right, so let's talk about how learning happens. Because as teachers, we should be experts of the learning process and how learning happens in the brain cognitively and how to create learning events for our students more effectively. So, right, learning happens through content. And content is the subject matter, it's not the language itself. So as English teachers, very often in the English language classroom, we teach maybe grammar or vocabulary, sometimes in isolation from the real world. And we're trying to connect real world context and to make every activity, every process in the learning event very relevant to the students. And so how we do that is through teaching subject matter and not the language. So content or subject matter can be like an academic subject. So we have here English for STEM, right? STEM as a science, technology, engineering, math. I think everybody knows what that abbreviation stands for. But it could be other subjects, right? It could be law, as I mentioned, journalism or media literacy, things like that. There's also interests, right? So video games, it could be politics, dinosaurs, anything. Also professional goals. You know, maybe your students are preparing for the medical field, or for tourism or journalism, as I mentioned. So really, if you look at Kazakhstan's trilingual policy, now it is strongly recommended, if not obligatory, for every teacher to teach CLIL. CLIL is expected for every English teacher and every teacher, especially STEM. The priorities of Ministry of Education now have been STEM through English, that it must be taught through English. And one of the reasons is because, as we mentioned with research, most of the literature, if you know English as English teachers, you have a larger you have access to the global database of information, and you can read the literature from all over the world, which is really important. So content plus language is what we're looking at in the ESL classroom. So let's go on to the next slide. Right, so when we teach a subject matter like STEM, for example, we're teaching the content, but we're using English as a means to explore the content. And actually this is highly motivating for the students. Why? Because actually it's relevant to them. That they're already interested in the content. Like when I teach students of STEM, maybe they come from an IT background. And when we come into the English language classroom, just recently I was doing a site visit in Uсть-Kamenogorsk. And one of our teachers, she basically went to the IT room and took some parts from a computer and had the students build the computer and then describe the process in English. And also to use emotional language to describe their personal feelings, how they felt, the frustration, maybe the excitement of building a computer, and they had to tell a story about maybe their dream computer, how they would build it, and so on. And so we as teachers, as English language teachers, I'm not an expert in science. I don't come from a scientific background. I come from a humanities background. Same with most of our English teachers. You don't have to be an expert in science to teach science. The same thing with our English for journalism teachers. I tell them, you don't have to be a professional journalist to teach journalism. As English teachers, our students might be the experts in the content. We are just guiding them along and scaffolding in, building into the lesson the English language, the appropriate English language, maybe grammar and vocabulary that they need to navigate this content. So, right. Motivation is all about activating prior knowledge. If you understand what your student already knows, and you're able to meet them there, and then build on that frame that they already have, this is what we call motivation, right? You're helping the students to connect what they already know with some new information that you're introducing. Right, so you're actually taking into account the needs of the student. It's a student-centered approach when you teach CLIL or content-based instruction. This is in contrast with the traditional ESL classroom, where we usually just focus on maybe general communication strategies, maybe just academic study. But in our ESL classrooms, I want to encourage you to think about how you can identify the needs of the student and have a student-centered approach. If you're teaching students of STEM and science, how to adapt your lesson to make each task relevant to that subject. And as I mentioned, it engages the prior knowledge of the students. So English teachers, we are globally minded professionals. As you all speak English, and I think you have more of an opportunity to access this information, to look at the global databases of information, to research. There are some other teachers who maybe are the students in your schools, but maybe their level of English is lower than yours. You can actually help and collaborate with your colleagues. And so this is a great opportunity for you to work together with your other teacher colleagues. Also, I would say that we, as teachers, I always when I do teacher trainings, the first question I was like, why did you become a teacher? What motivated you to become a teacher? And there's various answers. Not everybody will say, oh, I did it for the high salary, right? It's not about the salary. We have, there are some other professions that might give a much higher salary. It's usually the motivation is different. Sometimes I hear, why did you become a teacher? Some people might say, well, I love children. I love kids, and I love kids too, but to be honest, I usually tell them, well, that's not a good enough reason, because a lot of people love children, and just loving children isn't enough to be a teacher, right? Because as teachers, we should actually not only love the students, we should love learning. We should love the learning process. It's about the cognitive process of acquiring new information, of learning how to use information, of discovery, and so being curious and loving learning is really at the foundation of why we become teachers to begin with. So when we look at our language classrooms, we should also think about how we can build in that atmosphere of inquiry, the atmosphere of critical thinking. As teachers, we have our classrooms, and we really do create the atmosphere in that room, right? And so it can be boring, it can be drab, it can be something where you take cues from your environment as to how you should behave. There was a fascinating study in New York in the early 1990s when Mayor Giuliani was the mayor of New York. He really cleaned up the city of New York significantly. It was a very crime-ridden place. And at the time, there was a lot of gang violence in the late 1980s and early 90s. And then when Giuliani came in as the mayor, he started to do some research, first of all. And he understood that actually there was, he called it the broken window theory. The broken window theory. He said if you enter into a neighborhood and you look and you see broken windows on a house, then immediately you get the impression that nobody cares about this place. That really there's a lack of respect for the building, and the neighborhood is a criminal neighborhood, and it leads to more broken windows, because people take cues from their environment as to how they should behave. And that's why when we create our classrooms, we should also be thinking about the environments that we create, because your students will adapt. Your students will kind of like, they kind of go through almost like a calibration process when they enter your classroom. If it's exciting, if there's an environment of inquiry, if there's a buzz around your classroom, all the students are talking, I want to go to her classroom, Athana's classroom, I want to go to Billa's classroom, I want to go there, because it's so exciting. Yeah, there's a buzz in your school about you. And so we want to create that energy, that kind of environment. So, right, let's go to the role of a teacher then. So when we talk about CLIL, content-based instruction, CBI, we start to look at the teacher in a different way. So let me ask you this question, and maybe we can have some participation from the audience. So in content-based instruction, how does the role of the teacher change? Anybody? When you talk about CLIL methods and CBI, if we look at like a teacher being more of a like an authority classroom model, if we look more at a CBI, content-based instruction, will the teacher change? As a facilitator, thank you. Yeah, facilitator. And a facilitator, what that means is that you're a guide. You're coming alongside of your students. You're helping them. They're going on a journey. Yeah, learning process is a journey. Yeah, you're a guide on the journey. You've been there before. Maybe you haven't either. Maybe you're also co-exploring. You might just be a few steps ahead of your students in that journey. Yeah, but you're exploring together. You're modeling inquiry for your students. Right, and so you become a facilitator. So the role of a teacher in CBI, content-based instruction, is to facilitate communicative acts. And so one thing I often, when I do site visits, when I visit with teachers, I notice a lot of times teachers, maybe we talk too much in the classroom. Trying to reduce teacher talk is a very important step. To be a good facilitator is to get your students to talk. Sometimes, as teachers, we feel very uncomfortable with the silence. Right? You ask a question and you get no response, and you immediately want to fill in the blank. You immediately want to jump in and start giving some suggestions. Sometimes you need to let the students think, let them process. Yeah, let them come up with their own ideas and share. Which is a very, very important step as a facilitator, is actually give the students an opportunity to process. One thing that will very often happen in a classroom is that maybe we might ask a very profound question, very good question, a question like that we want to get at the end, but we ask it in the beginning of the class when the students haven't had a chance to maybe like wrestle with the ideas, to process the new information that you're going to be giving to them. So we have to work our students up to like the big questions, right? There's different levels of questions. And so when we talk about, the concrete sort of comprehension, more analytical questions, getting into more application questions. Sometimes if we start with a question like, how would you feel about this? Or what do you think, what is your opinion about that? They haven't had time to formulate their opinions yet. You need to build up the concrete, going into more analytical questions, then getting into that. So also a teacher would start sharing the authority, giving up some of the authority in the classroom. In traditional classrooms, we usually will have the teacher being the authority of information, even in the setup of the classroom. If you look here, now we're in a lecture hall, so you can see, for example, just the configuration of this room. I'm at the front, you're sitting, everybody's facing me, I'm giving you content, you're receiving it, right? And so just the model that you see in the environment is that you're a passive receiver of information, and I'm the authority giving you that information. And we can design our classrooms and for that kind of collaboration and facilitation model. We can start looking at how can we get our students to be more active and to present, especially in STEM, right? If your students study science and physics, we're English teachers. We don't maybe know a lot about physics, but we can start to incorporate some physics exercises or environment exercises about climate change and other important issues that affect our local community, and getting them to connect science with what they know with what you want to teach them, the English language skills. And what you should also remember when you're doing a CLIL-based lesson or a CBI lesson is that it is still a language classroom. It's still a language classroom. Yeah? Don't be scared or intimidated by teaching STEM or teaching journalism or another subject. It's still a language classroom, right? It's like a language classroom in disguise, right? That you're teaching them science, but really you're scaffolding in the language that they need to be successful there. I'll just quickly conclude that the goal of education is not just to increase the amount of knowledge, that is to say, just facts, inert facts, but actually is to create possibilities, to invent and to discover for your students, so that your students can create new things. Yeah, so actually, instead of just having passive knowledge, be able to create new things, to invent, to discover. And we as teachers, we create the possibilities for that through how we structure our classrooms, how we structure our tasks and our lessons. We really, especially with projects like English for STEM that we're doing, we're really trying to do that. We're trying to support the students, to meet them where they're at with their STEM background, and trying to give them the tools that they need to be successful in their life. So I'll end with just really talking about success. And actually the word success and prosperity in Hebrew language is the same word, and salech, and it means basically some people think when they hear the word prosperity, they think prosperity just means financial prosperity, money. But actually, it means to succeed in everything and to move forward. And so, when we look at desiring the future generation of Kazakhstan's success, we as teachers are the ones who are helping them to move forward. We should always keep our eyes fixed on the real goal, the real audience. Who is the beneficiary of what we're doing? And that is our students. We should always keep our eyes focused on the students. At the end of the day, it's all about the students and helping them to move forward. They are the next generation. As John Dewey said, that we as a society have grown to the point where we need to learn how to effectively pass on a great amount of information to the next generation. How do we effectively do it? And that's why we have schooling. That's why we, as teachers, are focused on our students. And so I wish all of you as English teachers great success, and that you would also be able to help your students to prosper, because when they prosper, the whole country prospers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholas. So let's give him a round for your applause. I think it was very useful information. I think I really have student-centered approach as a student-friendly environment. So, and today you also spoke about the role of the teacher, which is also very important.
Thank you so much. I really like to hear about the reason of becoming a teacher. And of course, it's not about the salary, right? And I very much like the idea about learning, like love for learning and hunger for knowledge. Thank you so much.
So curiosity is the engine for achievement. This is the topic of our following guest. And it is obvious that the most powerful world discoveries were made because of the curiosity.
So, next on our agenda and our last speaker in the plenary session is the official representative of the Publishing House Experts Publishing, the ELT consultant of the student. Please give her your full attention as she will provide valuable insights into the topic of achievement and curiosity.
I'm the last speaker, don't worry. Only 5 minutes. Okay. Баршаңызға қайырлы күн. Бүгінгі шараға келгендеріңізге рахмет, алғысымды білдіремін. Қош келдіңіздер. My pleasure and my topic is curiosity of achievement. I think that your teachers, you know, yes, that curiosity is important thing in our class, because curious, if a child stays curious, he will more discover, he will more explore. And what should we do? What should we do especially with young learners to improve their curiosity? What should we do in our class, in our lesson? I think that the main tools, the main strategies is the main strategies for in high schools or with students of middle or secondary schools. But in primary, with young learners, we have to do presentation as well, because presentation time in primary school, it's very important, it's very crucial, because it boosts confidence, improves communication skills, creates leaders. You know that if the students do only or make only 2 or 3 sentences, it is presentation. Create leaders, improve body language, increase self-confidence, and become organized. Okay, the more curious a child is, the more he learns. I hope that later we'll meet in a session and we will do some practice. Thank you for your attention. That's all. Only 5 minutes.
Thank you so much. Now, dear participants, before separate sections begin, you have some time to have a coffee break, and it's going to be.
After the coffee break, please look at your brochures and you will see the color